Good morning, Wall Street winners. It is Wednesday, January the 8th, and we're off to an interesting start for the day. If we take a look at the Bloomberg, we can see that ADP came out and added 122,000 jobs. ADP is the, I guess, job software company that tracks private employment reports. So it comes out with this report on a monthly basis, lower than expected. So maybe a bit of a concern there, but then we got some other numbers out around unemployment claims that kind of counterbalance that because they were lower than expected. Bunch of different news headlines going on here, but if we take a look at the markets and the futures, you can see that the futures have they have been in the red. They've now bounced into the green, so that's a positive certainly to start the day. Doesn't mean they're going to stay there, as they haven't on the last couple of days when they've started off in the green. We do have the Fed minutes coming out from the December meeting at 2 o'clock today. So that should create some churn within the markets after 2 p.m. And then we have the markets closed tomorrow for the state funeral in Washington for ex-President Carter. So lots going on. It should be a fairly subdued day. You've got oil up at in above 74 and a half, which is positive. Um, you have the Treasury, the 10-year bond rate, kind of hovering. It's up a little bit. Nasdaq futures have bounced from red to green, and the VIX has bounced up. It was up over a point. It's now up less than a point at point 0.8, but it is up close to 19, which is higher than it's been in a while. So there is definitely an increased concern in the market. You can see that yesterday was a very red day for a lot of stocks, but it's turning around. It's green on the screen for a lot of those that were red here in health and retail yesterday. Um, Healthcare had a good day yesterday overall. You've got your transports, which were positive and had a good day, not a huge gain, but they were in the green. And most of your oil stocks, based on crude's jump yesterday, were in the green, although it's looking like it's a mixed bag between red and green in the pre-market, mostly red in the names that we follow. And then we get down into tech, and tech had a huge sell-off, particularly NVIDIA and some of the semis, which started off the day really strong. They are in the green, at least NVIDIA and Micron are in the green at the get-go. We've got Apple is in the red, but only slightly. CRM's been down almost 3 days in a row now, so it's got a bit of a downtrend going. Palo Alto, the same. It's been down for the last couple of days, with the exception of Net, which is Cloudflare, which was negative, but not to the same extent as Palo Alto and some of the others. It seems like cybersecurity has been selling off recently. Net, I believe, got an upgrade or a double upgrade from one of the analysts late last week, and that probably gave it a bit of a bump with, I would say, primarily retail investors more than anyone else. Scrolling down, ARM is off, which is a bit of a surprise if NVIDIA is up, but not off that much. Scrolling down further, just looking for some big anomalies here. Nothing really stands out at this point. You've got Adobe's had a few bad days as well. It continues to fall in the morning session. Oh, and Google's off $3. So that might be an interesting one to watch today. It's off way more than the average for its price point. And if it drops down into the low 190s, it might be an attractive add to see what happens there. And then if we go down into finance, you can see SoFi has been selling off. So down in the 14s, interesting to watch that. It does have earnings coming up in the next week or so. So that'll be one to follow with the earnings. Expect those to be good. And Goldman had an interesting day yesterday. A lot of these, the charts are very similar if you look at them. They were up at the open and then they dropped. And by 10 o'clock, they were all, or before 10 o'clock, they were all down near their bottoms for the day. And then they slowly started coming back with ups and downs, but minor ones throughout the day. And they all kind of fell off right by the close and then caught a bit of a bid into the final minutes of the close and were coming back, but none of them really got back into the the green from where they were. I found it was an interesting day to to play Goldman yesterday. I watched this as it opened and sold a position that I bought right before close the previous day. Took some profits, held that, bought back in on the dip, caught a bit of a bid up there on the first swing here, and sold it on the upswing, and then waited and bought it. I didn't get it at the very bottom, but I bought it on the way down, and then continued to hold that. Actually held it through the end of the day. So I did not get rid of that yesterday because I thought it could have got higher than the 580. So we'll have to see what happens with Goldman today and whether it gets back up. We've got 7 days to earnings. So a week today, we'll have some earnings out from Goldman, JP Morgan a week yesterday. So they'll come out on Tuesday, and I think we're going to have some good numbers. So I'm pretty confident and positive going into those. And I think that Goldman could be a $630 stock by this time next week. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. That's kind of where we are today in the markets. Keep an eye out for those Fed minutes at 2 o'clock and what the outcome of those are. Sometimes there are bits and pieces released in those that cause some market jitters or help the market to really take off and soar. So we won't know until we see those, but beware that that could be something that turns those markets around 2 to 2:30 in the afternoon. Good luck with your trades, and if you're liking these videos, please